Oh, Lee spun. But look at that. Panel to the inside. Oh. Here we go, Jack. Is he going to hold it? Oh, they make contact. Mata comes across the line. And for the fourth time, he is your VSL champion. Hello everybody and welcome along to VSL F1 Season 8, and we are starting the second half of the season then with round number 7 in Algarve in Portugal for the Portuguese Grand Prix, a track which is situated half an hour from the main city and a track where Ayrton Senna uses his base when racing in Europe, believe it or not. So interesting fact there, more interesting facts to come and a little bit later on. My name is Jess Ball, and joining me in the commentary box is someone who's got very famous on Twitter the last couple of days due to a certain GT7 tweet. It is of course Mr. Liam New, also known as Evil Dragon. Liam, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing very well. Yes, I am officially Mr. Worldwide. This month's gone a bit wild on my Twitter. I've gained so many followers that, well, it's insane. 56, I think, and growing this month. It might get more. There might still be news for me in the future. I shall find out that in the future. But look, we got cars on circuit, Jess. It's Hayden. He's on circuit. It's all looking very nice here in a very cloudy Algarve circuit. Built in, I believe it was 2002. It was actually built to host Formula 1, but it never ran. Now, some of the corner names, they are named after, I think, a motorbike driver who died around here. I think that's what one of the corners is named after. Now, I think it's something Craig. I think is one of the corner names. I'm not 100% certain what the corner names are off the top of my head, but that is definitely one of them. So, let's see what they can do around here, right?
Yes, indeed. Last week we were at France, and believe it or not, it got chaotic towards the end of the race, where we saw rain, which kind of spiced things up. We were expecting a few people to win the race, but it didn't, and it was Kieran that won his first race of the season, so a big well done to him as well, and it spiced things up in the championship too. But again, we'll go through the championship just a little later on after the formation lap. But without further ado, Liam, should we get into some qualifying?
Yes, we most certainly shall get into some qualifying. And well, the first guy to say a lap time, that is, of course, EVG Hayden as he crosses the line right now to start a lap round Portimao, then dive down towards turn 1. It's a little bit downhill, then it rises back up into the braking zone of turn 1. Flick it in there, and the rear end doesn't want to step around, and that is a bit too much of a flick, and round it goes. So never mind on him, there is one. So, who's next to a lap time? It will be the Alpha Tauri, and it might be of Lee as he comes through turn 2 and 3, and this one looking very nice and smooth there. Now, spot the braking zone down into turn, I think it's turn 5, then a braking zone, wants the rear end to step out as you chuck it in to the left. Rear end just about holds on there as you come up through the gates, 3rd, 4th, 5th. He is actually on an outlap, I believe, so next actually behind would be, it might be Acorn as he comes down the hill. So I've run on board of Acorn then as he's on a flying lap as he comes into turn 5, up to 6 and 7. This one here, Jess, this is a very easy corner, these next two, to go wide, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and sometimes you miss the braking zones quite a lot. Now, turn 8, a few people have spun there in the past in league racing, including myself. I've done that quite a few times, and it's very hard, in particular in the rain. You pass turn 9, heading towards the downhill section of turns 10 and 11 as well. Looks pretty nice to drive sometimes, but a lot of people find it difficult. You're heading towards the final sector in 2nd gear, 3rd gear on entry, and then you're short shifting into 5th gear and then down into 3rd gear for the final few corners, where Nano Noise says you're moving up and down, side to side like a roller coaster, because it is literally like a roller coaster. So Jet then ups the line. He goes a 1 minute 17.1. He's the first man to lap time. Kieran, last week's race winner, comes across the line in P2. His teammate Slenderman is up to the line. He all goes fastest with a 1:16.8. We got an Alpine who's across the line. No, it's a Williams, my bad. 1:18.0. And then we've got, I think, Tony on his outlap. Yeah, we have got Tony on his outlap. So it will be the Red Bull of Red Matt on the mediums then. What can he do in P4? So some solid lap times on the board. They are just banker lap times, of course. Quite a few people on the mediums, which strongly suggests that it is going to be a dry start of the session at least as well. But since it's overcast around here, the conditions can be a little bit more tricky to heat your tyres to say good lap. So I think tyre temps is going to be very, very difficult. Expect to see people on more than one lap on the mediums, I presume, but I may be wrong, as Lee has retired. So I don't know what happened there.
In the pit lane has retired there, so I'm not sure if they have a quali ban that we missed. I don't believe anyone has anything to serve, so I'm not sure where they've retired. Ryan Berry.
Yeah, Lee's got a quali ban.
Well, there we are then. So that shows my logic there. He does have a quali ban because he retired. That's the only reason I'd imagine someone would retire. We've got more yellow flags popping up. It's riding on board with Ryan Berry for the last corner as he come up to start line. Don't go and have a flick spin onto the left. That doesn't normally end well. That could be some flashbacks. Enough possession for Ryan. Next up to do a lap would be... We've got Tony on a lap time at invalidated. Newgard on an outlap. We've got the other car of Tony, the Alpine Tony, as he comes through the last corner. Let's see what he can do then as he rides up the crest all the way to the start line. Let's see, can he get himself up? And it is 8th position for him then, alongside his fellow comrades through the field. Looking down, we've got Newgarden not on a lap. It is, I believe, Redman. Let's see, he should be coming in the pit lane, I believe. No, he's going to stay out. Let's see what it's going to be then. So he's going for a second flying lap right now, like you said, Jess.
Yeah, I think a few more people will be doing exactly the same. Now, J-Lu did get disqualified for his one. I do see a soft tyre heading towards turn 5. That's very, very weird. Hopefully it doesn't distract any of the drivers. But I can safely say that a few more people are going at it full beans. They're just not liking their first lap on the tyres they go on. It only takes their second lap for them to be very, very happy. But they're going to be using a scrub set very, very quickly. And I've been looking at strategy around this track as Newgarden goes and invalidates. It is a soft to medium strategy around here. I know it's a bit pushing it, but it can be done. I've seen the guys in the top tiers, in the top tier leagues, do very well with that strategy. But you just got to do very well with your tyre management, as a few drivers are going into the pit lane. We've got Tony P then, I believe he is backed off. Yes, he has backed off, so he'll be going into the pit. We've got Flexi who's going into the pit as well. I think a few more drivers will be going into the pit. It's not George though, but he's done a naughty thing, Liam. He has invalidated.
Yes, he has. Now, I've been told that Matters Will decided he wanted to be non-existent, and that is why he is no longer in qualifying, because he's, well, dead.
His wheels messed up, apparently.
Yes, his wheels has, let's just say, decided it's gone on strike. We'll put it as that much. Yellow flags flying up. That's just a little bit of desync, I believe, right there, because there isn't actually any yellow flags around there. As we've got a few people on that, but you've got a few people coming in the pit lane. I think George is on a lap, I believe. Yeah, he's 10th up as he comes through sector 2. A little bit twitchy, a little bit glitchy on my screen. He's very twitchy on my screen, should I say. It's like watching, well...
He's fine on my screen.
He's not very fine on my screen, which either is 1, trouble for me, or B, it's just some intriguing stuff on my screen. It looks very pretty. His car's doing all sorts of dancey things.
It's probably your internet then tonight, Liam.
Well, I'd be surprised if it was mine, so I'm going to put it down to probably the game being a bit buggy. It normally is like that for me. He's sorting himself out. Now through the last corner, let's see what he can do. All the way up to the line, he's got his teammate in front of him, and it is P14. Then he does improve by 28/100ths. Next on a lap time, we've got Yaham on a lap. We've got Knighton, I believe he's coming in the pit lane. Acorn on a lap. That's invalidated. We've got Slenderman up front. He is on a lap, but he's also invalidated. So I believe it really is Yaham. Let's see what he can do.
Yes, going past Toro Vips then as well. A few incidents have happened there in the past in league racing around here as well. It is very downhill and probably one of the main overtaking spots on this circuit as well. You can get a bit of a tow as you head towards turn 9 here as well, if someone you know is on a lap at the same time. Now, the last time Portugal actually held a Grand Prix was back in '96, with Damon Hill actually winning in Estoril, a track that hosted Formula 1 13 times from 1984 to 96, by the way. Alan Prost and Nigel Mansell shared the record for the most Portuguese wins before then. Obviously, it went back to Portugal back in 2020, and it's been on the calendar ever since. It's not going to be on the calendar this season, though, in real life. Absolutely good about that. Johan has done a naughty thing. Again, he is invalidated. Quite common for people to invalidate in Sector 3. Let's see if Timo cannot invalidate. We'll have to wait and see. Timo's doing very, very well in the championship since becoming full-time. We'll see as he goes through the last couple of corners then. Please don't run wide there, which he does not. Takes that corner absolutely beautifully. Takes a different one to the line that I was expecting. And it is pole position, Liam.
Yeah, but certainly is there. Well, let's see who is next to a lap time. We've got a few in the middle sector. We've got the Red Bull of, I believe that would be Newgarden for the last couple of corners right now. But you know what? These are validated. So let's see who's next for the last sector. We've got Johan for the last sector, but he's invalidated. So behind that, we have got Tony. Has he invalidated? No, he hasn't. We've also got, I think you said Ryan Berry. Yes, he has. He's there as well. He's not invalidated as Johan goes grass cutting on the inside. But here we are then. Let's see what Mr. Berry or Ryan can do then. Let's see through the last couple of corners. Can he get himself up the order then? Let's see through the long right. Rear end doesn't step out for him and then takes it nice and smooth over the crest to the line. Let's see, should be around about 8th position. Yes, it is. Behind him, we have got Tony. P2 for him. Good lap for them. Then we've also got the other Tony starting at lap time. We've got the Aston Martin of Aiden coming across the line right now. Goes P6 for him. And then we've got, I presume, it's Red Matt for the last corner right now.
He's invalidated, Liam. So
there is that one. We've got Iceman as well crossing the line to do a lap time. And now 6 temps up for him, P4. So far, next up, we have got... It would be, Timo. I believe, Timo. He comes into the pit lane. Then we've got the Ferrari coming up with Casper to start his lap time. And, well, let's see if he can do any intriguing stuff. Let's see if he can put the goalpost nice and high for him. Then here comes Casper. Then into turn number 1 on that set of medium tyres. He chucks it through the red, flying high then. For the Ferrari driver as he comes through turn 2 into 3. This is the one that's very easy to snap the rear out, and he does it nice and fine through there. He's now diving itself down the hill, spot the braking zone around about 75 metres right there in between the 50 and the 100. Chucks it in, and that looks pretty smooth as well for him. He's now chucking it slight left and then into the double right-hander where it's so easy for the rear end to step out. Will he go and do it fine? The answer to that is somewhat fine, though a little bit wide, though even wider there. He still hasn't validated, so you know what? I think he'll take it. So far as it comes through left and then into the right, this corner normally blind for some of the drivers, and he's just about keeping it on the edge through here as he now dive down and then up and then suddenly spot the braking zone on the right, chuck it into the left, and then it is into the penultimate corner on this circuit. Little bit on the grass, but that's all fine. These Formula 1 cars can handle the grass. Don't invalidate on the exit through here, and then it is back over the crest, down the hill, and let's see to the line. We'll take a nice shallow line for him. Takes the quickest line he can because it is the one that has the least resistance. It's only P12 for Casper on that set of mediums.
Yes, so I think he would probably want to go on a set of the soft tyres, I believe. So he wants to make sure that he I think, goes quicker. But the alternate strategy could work wonders around here for some of these drivers, but they've got to be on the pace. So George is on a lap, but I know there's a few people that are on their final runs there. And we've got Flexi on the final corner now in that Ferrari. The championship contender last season. Can he improve? P5 for him. I'm sure he could do a lot better though. We have got, I'm trying to see who's next. It might be a Williams actually. No, but it's not a Williams. It's a Red Bull. We've got Red Matt going into the pits actually. So it's his teammate Newgarden who is about to start his run then as well. So there's some drivers that are on clean runs, as in has clear air at the moment. So they should be able to do a few more runs. For people who will be leaving it late, they don't have a lot of time, and usually I've seen around here, around Portimao, quite a few people leaving it late and they invalidate, so I'll be expecting a lot of people to go out ASAP. Yellow flag, that's probably people slowing down again.
With the Red Bull, the Red Bull of Red Man slowing down to get out of the way. I think he's just doing some heat treatment on his tyres right now. He's on an outlap as well, so that is why he's going slowly. Don't want to war those tyres too much. Knighton, meanwhile, is coming into the pit lane. As behind him, Ryan is beginning his outlap. We've got the other Ferrari of Flexi on a lap right now, but he is 2 seconds down, so it is not very much a lap time. Who is on a lap time? Johan, he's on lap time. He's not invalidated so far. Now, as long as he doesn't go too wide here, he does go wide, but not too wide. That is good. And through the last corner, as long as he gets it nice and smooth, it will be a lap time. So, finally, 4th time lucky, finally gets a lap, and it is P6 then for Mr. Johan. So, pretty decent lap for him. His teammate is 2 seconds down, so isn't on a lap time either. Newgarden on a lap time as well. His teammate coming through the last corner on his out lap as well. So a few of these drivers started to lap times. We have a pass that has spun at the infamous corner where so many have got caught. Then we got Matt Ryan coming right up, and oh dear, that was interesting there from George. He's very, well, he hit a wall but didn't get damage. So, well, if he hasn't, very lucky. I'm not sure if that was lag. It might have been.
Well, unfortunately, I didn't see that as I was on board with Matt Ryan going through the final sector then in the Williams.
Oh, my God.
To be fair, Matt Ryan has done a lot better this season compared to previous seasons. Hasn't spun very much at all. He's coasting in 18th at the moment on 15 points. Can he get higher than that as he crossed the line on 17.7, P17 for now, and last out of the people that have set a lap time. So, Newgarden then. Well, he was on a lap, but he's backed off, so I wonder if he's going to go again. He doesn't have much ERS, though, so I wonder if that's it then for him. The only people that can beat Timo, I would say, will be the top 10. I think Timo has played an interesting strategy by retiring. He thinks no one can beat that lap time. But with the gap so close between Timo and Tony, I think he might have made the wrong decision there because he retired in the pits. But you've seen quite a lot of people invalidate, so it may be the best decision. Redman is invalidated, so he's going to go again. What would it be? 1:16.320. That would have put him on the front row. So he still has more time to find. We've got Ryan Berry, who's about a second down on his lap time, so he's going to go again. But we have got Casper, who's going to start his final run. Then expect him to go as quickly as he can. He's got a redemption in his belly at the moment. He's not very happy about his laps at all. And usually when you have rage in you, sometimes you don't perform well. So Casper just needs to focus on the laps ahead and make sure he keeps it clean and tidy. And we got, I think, another McLaren that's Pete starting his outlap actually. But yeah, it is all guns a-blazing at the moment. Everyone has got to do their best, otherwise it's curtains for qualifying.
Put your left and right foot forward. I think it's your right foot forward is the pun there, but then again, I'm left-footed, so I suppose left foot forward for me. So I'm left-handed as well. One of not many people that are left-handed. Are you left-handed, Jess?
I'm actually right-handed, Liam, so you're the odd one out.
Yes, I'm the odd one out. I like being odd ones out. Let's see, Aiden Crossline does improve. He doesn't improve by much, so he is left down there in 8th position. We've got a few people coming through the last corners. Akon. Is he going to get across the line and start lap time in 3 seconds to go? Yes, he will. That had to get a move on pretty quickly. Casper, I believe, coming through the last corner for his lap time. Is he on a flying lap is the question. Well, it looks pretty good so far then. Through the last corner, let's see what he can do. And the answer to that is, I thought he was coming into the pit lane. Can he get himself near the front? 6th position alongside his teammate. That's more like it. That's what he wants. Next up is going to be Ryan Berry. That's it. He's up by a 10th for the bit. As well, he goes 11th. A lot of cars are improving. Knighton through the last corner. He's up by 7 tenths. This needs to be good for him. And it's 8th position. Behind him, going up, I believe, was Tony. He's P2. Flexi across the line. Can he improve? P3. Who's next? Iceman. Let's see what he can do in the Alpha Tauri then. He's up by a bit. 3 tenths. P1 beats Timo there, and that there is a big surprise. Timo in the pit there. Let's see what Kieran can do then as he comes through the last corner. Oh God! Wow, that is not what he's going to do because he is out of qualifying, and dear oh dear. Next up, Akon through the last corner. And let's see what he can do. Hopefully he doesn't decide to plough it into a pit wall. He's going to plough it into the pit lane, but doesn't hit the wall. He comes into the pit. Aiden will cross the pits as well. And I believe that is the end of qualifying.
Yes, that is it then. So it is Iceman on pole, man, that I'm not surprised to have seen do well in pole. But he left to the very last minute, didn't you? But to be honest, that's what counts at the end of the day. You may set a good lap at the start of qualifying, but if you don't set a good lap at the end, some people can beat you. And Timo, well, he made the gamble. But to be fair, Timo's still starting in P2, so he'll be on the front row. The last few races I've watched Iceman around Portimao, he's won both of them. So he's kind of like a god around this track. So can he replicate his fine form around one of his favourite circuits on the game? Or will somebody else be able to beat him? Bearing in mind, he is a reserve driver this season, and he's just showing what the full-time drivers are made of. The gap between first and third is less than 5/100ths of a second. And then we got Flexi separated by just under a tenth of a second. Then let's go through your order actually. We've got Iceman, Timo, Tony, Flexi, Slenderman, Kieran, Casper, Johan, Speed 19 and Hayden. Round up your top 10. They'll be starting on the soft compounded tyres. Then we've got Akon, Ryan Berry, Tony, Red Matt, George, Newgarden, Matt Ryan, Matta, Lee and Jalik. The bottom three did not set a lap time, Liam. And that is the wrap-up of your qualifying.
Yeah, well, I mean, absolute drama. And, I don't know. I mean, Kieran said he had a bad lap time. It was down by 10, but it was pretty good for me.
Yeah, it did actually. It wasn't that bad for him as well, but it probably would have put him like P4, P5 or something. But, you know, sometimes the quicker you get and the quicker that you want to improve, you absolutely get annoyed that you don't set a perfect lap time. Usually, sometimes even a littlest improvement for me, I'm impressed with, but we'll have to wait and see anyway. So we are going to go through the standings for the championship so far, because we've already done 6 rounds of the season. Obviously last week was France, so let's run you through them. So Timo still leads the standings with 98 points, and no, it's not Panos in second place, it is Casper. The standings will need to be changed to reflect that, but it is close by 8 points. We've got Tony in third on 85 points, Slenderman in fourth on 65 points, Flexi in fifth on 59 points, sixth is Kieran with 47 points, seventh and eighth is Matta and Akon respectively on 43 and 31 points, ninth is J-Luke on 28 points, joint with Red Matt, 11th is Tony P with 25 points, 12th is Iceman on 20, Ryan Berry is 13th on 20 as well, 14th is Hayden on 18, 15th is Mike on 18, 16th is Johan on 18, 17th is Lee on 16, 18th is Matt Ryan on 15, 19th is Cam on 11, and we've got Sheldon Cooper in 20th on 6. Go through the next page. 21st is Risky on 6. He's not able to make it tonight, unfortunately. That's why we got McLaren in his place. 22nd is Newgarden on 5 points. Ahmed can't make it tonight due to a celebration that he's celebrating on 4 points. Yuri is 24th on 2. And we got Panos, Kev, and our newest reserve, Robin, yet to score. But, Liam, we've got 2 drivers with a full time yet to score. That is George and Speed Knighton. They need some luck, don't they, around this track?
Yeah, they're going to need some luck around here on a circuit which is renowned for being pretty difficult to survive. The best of times, they're going to have to just, well, survive the best they can. And you never know, they can pick up some points later on. But we shall see of what everyone can do. I mean, weather around here, very high chance of rain potentially, but I'm not 100% certain what the weather's going to do because I haven't been told.
I always like to have a little bit of a surprise in the proceedings as well. So we went through the drivers. Let's go through your constructors quickly as well. I think those are the right constructors. So Ferrari are leading 149 points. Second is Aston Martin, 136. Third is Alfa Romeo on 124. Fourth is Williams on 100. Fifth is Mercedes on 74. Sixth is Alpine on 45. Seventh is Haas on 37. Eighth is AlphaTauri on 34. Same McLaren as well. in 9th, and in 10th is Red Bull in dead last place on 27 points. Make sure you check out our sponsor, Rogue Energy. You can go onto their website, rogueenergy.com, and you can use the code VSL F1 League for 10% off. They produce very good products, by the way, so make sure you check those out. It helps us out and it helps them out as well, so it's a win-win situation. Make sure you follow us on Twitter using @VSL_F1. Also, subscribe to us on YouTube as well by turning the red button into a grey. Also, hit the like button and turn the notification bell so you know when to check out our streams. Wednesday evenings at 8. If you are watching this on demand, as in not live, where have you been? We stream live all the time every Wednesday, and it's always good fun. You can also check us out on our own personal Twitters. I'm at JessGames95, and Mr. Popular Guy, what's your Twitter?
It is at Liam New Media. I was about last time when we were here, I'm pretty certain I said I think I was under 500. Now I'm more than 500 by a lot. So that happened. I tell you what, I'm enjoying the VSL chat right now. It's quite fun. They're all having a lot of fun in there about many things. But we are on the grid here for the Portuguese Grand Prix, and it is Iceman leading the way here in what is going to be a very warm afternoon, so let's hope he does not melt. Ahead of Mr. Timo, and then comes Tony Flexi, Slenderman, who's in a fantastic 5th position, by the way, I must say, ahead of Kieran, who decided to plough the barrier, ahead of Casper, and then Yaham as well. 5 Ferrari-powered cars in a row. Then comes the McLaren ahead of the Aston Martin, the Mercedes. So then comes 3 Mercedes-powered cars, and then the one of 2 Renault-powered cars in the line. And then, of course, it is the Red Bull. And then behind, well, it's the Ferrari and the Red Bull, and then the Red Bull, and then the Williams. And then it is Mercedes and Matt. Then comes Lee, and then J. Luke rounding up the field for a 20-car grid here today, and we are already at the midpoint of this lap, Jess, and this is going to be a very intriguing afternoon for all of them.
Well, it's quite overcast at the moment, just like what we saw in the qualifying session then, so the conditions are replicated, as it seems, but you never know what could happen in VSL. Usually anything does happen, and we've had quite a crazy race last week, so we could have a crazy race again this week, you never know. So, looking at the tyre strategy, everybody outside the top 10, except Newgarden. Newgarden's going for a very bold strategy. Everyone outside the top 10, apart from Newgarden, has gone for the mediums. Newgarden has gone for the soft tyres. Now, knowing what happened last season, I wonder if Newgarden is thinking there could be a safety car on the horizon that early on.
Yeah, definitely could be a lot of intriguing questions here. The leaders coming through the last corner. They are ready to go. Timo literally up the rear end of Iceman there, as he is, well, he might get a bit of a cold breeze from that close behind, but he's experiencing the rear end of the Alpha Tower, and hopefully he doesn't sit this close behind the Alpha Tower the whole afternoon. That would be quite entertaining for me. I think I'll be having a meltdown in the commentary box right now if that was that close for the whole race. But top 2 there, Tony in 3rd, Flexi in 4th. Like you said, in terms of tyres, a lot of them have gone for softs, or the top 10, and Newgarden on a set of soft tyres as well. Everyone else on a set of mediums. Now, I don't know here, Jess, but Timo's not in a grid slot.
That is weird.
That's a desync, and I think that... Oh, never mind.
Oh,
there we go.
He's back. That's good.
He's back. We're good. Red Matt's leading. There we go. Now the game's sorted itself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights here in Portugal, here in the Algarve, and it is lights out, and most certainly we are off. It looks like a very good start for Timo, despite that issue. Further down the field, a lot of cars making starts. 3 arrests there, with the 2 Ferraris, they come through into turn number 1, but I think absolutely everyone get through there absolutely fine, apart from Redman and Knighton. Down the back, the speeds have come together, I believe, down there, so issues for those guys. They come through turn 2, but it's Timo, Iceman, Tony, Casper, Flexi, and then I think trouble behind as another one, and there is Kieran in trouble. And I'll tell you what, Jess, at this line of form, the virtual safety car deployed, and I every time say we get a good start, and it normally ends tragically.
That is an example, unfortunately, Liam, of a commentator's curse. So last week's race winner Oh, Mr. Kieran? Well, he didn't even make it past the first lap, so his season has gone from very good to absolutely poor. So Kieran's going to hope that the next race next week doesn't end the same way. But still, only a VSC, too early to pit, of course. So they will be going for a few more laps, obviously, to go around about lap 12 they'll be pitting, as we said earlier on as well. So we've got to keep an eye on to see if nobody has made any penalties in a safety car restart or VSC restart, because we've seen a few drive penalties around this track. But I'm looking at positions gained around this track at the moment. The biggest gainer is J-Luke up 8. Matt Ryan is up to 10th. So Matt Ryan doing a great job as well. Biggest loser, obviously, Knighton down 10. Red Matt down 4. We've got George into the pits. I wonder, Liam, if he's got some sort of damage. I think he has. We've got a Red Bull in the pits. That is Red Matt. And the VSC is coming in. And Timo now leads the field away by 0.8 of a second.
It's not a very nice time for that to come in. Right, and these guys covered. Both do have damage. You are correct there, Jess. So issues already for these guys. But as they stream away, it is now the Aston Martin going through the field. Matt Ryan having a battle with Aiden, who did have contact with Kieran. That is why apparently Kieran just lost tracks and ran straight in front of him, we presume. So that is why he is not in this race. So lost a bit of traction, probably, well, definitely out of turn number 3. And that is a real shame for last week's race winner. But what it does mean, though, is we did have a virtual safety car. And it does mean is likes of George and Red Matt, they are not all in the world's biggest trouble. I suppose if we do a safety car, they might still be able to come back through later on. And safety car, like I said, Jess, extremely high to come out. And the two Ferraris getting a little bit closer together. Casper really on the move right now. Trying to close up on Turney, but up front it is Timo and Iceman
there's
really
a battle
pulling
between
away.
Ryan Berry and J-Luke. Sorry to cut you off there as they go up the hill. We've got a few drivers in the pits. We've got Johan and Slenderman going for the move as well, as Johan makes a brilliant run into turn 1. We've got J-Luke and Ryan Berry still going side by side there as we go down this tricky section of turns 2 and 3. Can they hold it? Well, J-Luke holds it up into 10th position. Don't forget, he got disqualified from qualifying and he is up into 10th. So he's doing absolutely amazing job there. Well, I'm not going to say too much because every time I say something good about him, he does awful. And I'm not going to say what league that is. He's gone wide a little bit there. He's gone wide a little bit there. Oh no, this allows Ryan Berry to come back. But luckily, he stays ahead for now, but I wonder if he's going to lose a little bit more time. But he's catching up to Ryan Berry, though, so that's not all bad. So that could have been curtains, but he saved that, and I don't know how he saved it. Good job, J-Luke.
Very lucky there, Jess, wasn't you there from... Oh, no! Ryan Berry! Oh, dear, Ryan Berry's dropped it. I was about to say nearly dropped it, and then someone drops it right in front of me. Well, there is a curse of a counter-curse, I might say, and well, here we are then, and might we say, not a safety car. Timo, first lap of this race, and I'll tell you what, who is next on our hit list today? Well, I mean, so far, we've got Yarham closing up on Flexi, Flexi closing up on Casper, Casper really closing up on Tony. Everyone's closing up on everyone right now. I'll tell you who's not getting caught, that is Timo, 1 second out the DRS zone. So far, we get to move on as their battle between Newgarden and Tony, as, oh, that's going to be, oh, Newgarden, that's a wall, that's another wall, and that might be the red tyre gone. It is. Now, that is a very interesting way to enter your race there, Newgarden, and, well, he lost the rear at turn number 2. Nearly murdered, I think it must have been either J-Luke. Tried to get it right around, hit the wall, and then hit the wall again, and he's out of this race, which is a real shame. Yellow flag, that will not cause a safety car, I don't think, is now the other battle there, Red Matt battling with Aiden, and let's see if Aiden can get Red Matt as they come up the hill. Both of them struggling equally on the red tyres. Very easy to drop in that second corner, isn't it, Jess?
Yeah, it is. I've done that quite a few times, and I've had saves around there through turn 4. You can get quite a lot of oversteer down. You can lose the car on track, and just like Kieran did as well, and that can pretty much end your race as Hayden on the hards, not doing too bad, but surely he would have wanted to do higher. But I'm debating when the Hearts are going to make it to the end, but never say never as Yarham and Flexi then go for the move into turn 1. This time Yarham makes it stick, stays in P5 but Flexi is on a charge. Past into turn 3, heading towards turn 4 where the elevation changes quite quickly then. You're now going to be going down the hill very quickly under DRS. Turn 5, heading towards Torre Vip then, clips that apex. Flexi takes a brilliant line there, and he is in 5th position. And who is also in this train? We've got Yarham and Slenderman joining in the fun. Well, Slenderman knows that these two are squabbling, so he will be able to take advantage. By the way, the leading car on the medium tyres is Deck, who is in 8th position. And then it's Matt Ryan in 9th, J Luke in 10th. I think all three of them have gained positions right now, and it's starting to brighten up a little bit as well, so the tyres will get a little bit hotter. Now Timo is already out of DRS to Iceman, so Timo doing a very, very good job of clearing away from the rest of this field. This is what we like to see from our championship leader, Liam.
Very certainly, yes. Casper, who got past Tony just a little bit more ago, he's saying the time is green light. He is really hoping for a good afternoon. Meanwhile, Slenderman looking for a move that'll be around the outside into turn 1. This will be late breaking if he could do it. Try the old switcheroo up the inside if he can. Yarham goes wide, gets a 3-second time penalty. Now, what is Slenderman going to do? Well, he's going to try line him up the hill and try and get him into turn number 6, I believe it is. Then let's see DRS. It's going to be a late braking manoeuvre as Yarham going to try and cover the inside line. No, he's not. So down the inside he will go. Will he make the corner? Yes, he will. Has he gone alongside enough? The answer is yes, but the inside line will be Yarham's into the right-hander. So let's see. It'll be brave to go around the outside. Might try the old cutback, but still can't get up the inside there because it's very easy to swap her on there, and he had to just sit back for the time being. What he's waiting for really is to try to annoy him a little bit. Try and get Flexi to open that door up a bit more, and then you can try and attack. But like I say, Casper really starting to fly onto the back here of Iceman. Now just under 6/10 of a second. He is setting the timing screen to lie, and then T will have DRS coming down this straight to it. See if he can get close enough. Really needs to be within about 5/10 of a second. Ideally, if you want to get past into turn 1, he is within that bubble. So let's see, it could be close. DRS has been enabled. Let's see. Down the straight, is he close enough? I think he's just going to run out of top speed and run out of straight as well. But I think he's been about 4 attempts. Meanwhile, Slenderman does get that move on Yarham as I predicted. He would be able to try and do, but needs to try and pull away right now, which he does.
Yes, these two have been switching positions all through this race so far then. So I expect that it will continue until the pit stop phase. But Yarham does have the disadvantage of having those time penalties. 3 drivers having time penalties at the moment there. So we'll keep an eye on Casper's ERS in P3. He's on 37%. Iceman's on 35 and Timo's on 19. So to be honest, the person that's faring the best on the ERS is Casper. Not by much though. Tony is on 24%. Flexi is on 54, but he's going to have a charging Slenderman trying to close in. Same with Yarham as well. Yarham again. He's just not giving up, isn't he? He's pretty much setting the same pace as Slenderman. And they're all taking different lines through the final sector as well. We don't know which line is right and which line is the fastest. Well, these drivers do, because they drive a lot better than how I drive. Well, they drive a lot quicker, to say the least, at the moment. George gets another 3-second time penalty. Casper then, he is not close to Iceman. He was 3 attempts, but I think you got to be within 2 attempts or about a attempt or 2 to get past them, I would say, because one thing on catching them as another thing on passing them. And with Slenderman and Yarham fighting, it's allowing Slenderman, he was almost out of DRS to Flexi, but he's just about caught up. So they can't squabble like this, can they? Because they'll be in exactly the same situation where they lose the DRS and the guy behind will gain advantage from it.
Yeah, that's most certainly true. Meanwhile, down the field, we've got a battle here as Knighton late breaking down the inside. There's going to be contact. There very much is contact. It's going to be shuffled wide, but let's see Tony. I think he's just going to bleed out the throttle there to let Knighton go. No point trying to stick one up the inside there, because it normally is a very easy corner to come a crop up, and does back out of that one. So Knighton up to 11th position right now. Matt in 13th. Now his wheel's working again after that little technical issue moments ago. He's carrying on his merry way. Hasn't made a mistake since earlier on either. Further down the field, Redmat, Aiden, George, Ryan, 2 out of this race. That is Newgarden, who dropped it at turn 3, and Kai, who dropped it at turn 4. As in the pits comes Iceman to trigger the undercut strategy, and we'll go presumably on a set of mediums now till around about lap 25. And then see if he wants to try and do a one-stop. It could be possible from here.
He is going to do a one-stop. I've seen it done before, Liam. I've seen it done before where people on the soft pit this early. It's a bit of a gamble strategy, but I've seen people do it. Or maybe Iceman's knowing something that we don't. Maybe there could be rain on the horizons. We'll have to wait and see. So that will allow Timo to have some breathing space, or allow Casper to have some breathing space a little bit, and see if he can catch up to our race leader, as Timo gone a little bit wide there through turn 8, but he's gained a bit of time back as well. Tony can't get even close to the top 2 at the moment, so I think the battles are pretty much slowed down towards near the front. But to be honest, if you are Pete on those soft tyres, you need to get past medium runners ASAP. As another yellow flag, but I think that was a Haas, but he didn't do anything wrong, so that was weird. As Pete's gained a lot more time towards 10 and 11 over Matt Ryan then, so I wonder if he's going to go for the move in towards turn number 1 very, very soon. He is following Matt Ryan very closely indeed, so I think this could be the mood he's going for. The top 12, don't forget, in VSL score points and the extra 2 bonus points if you're inside the top 12 and get the fastest lap. As Yaham goes into the pits, and we have got a Haas that spinned it. That's George. But enough about them at the moment, as Pete takes an interesting line down to turn number 1, but it's worked. It's worked for him, and he's overtaken Matt Ryan. Well, he is a lot faster than him at the moment, doing a pretty good job and trying to catch up to his teammate in P7. But Pete will have to pit soon. No one else on the softs have pitted, and George is relegated to 18th, and he's left the session. So I wonder, Liam, if he's given up there and pulled the plug.
Well, he spun about 3 times in the space of 1 corner there. So, I mean, if he has, it's a real shame, because we don't like to see it unless he disconnected at an inopportune time, might we say. But, you know, give the benefit of the doubt so far. And then see Slenderman and Flexi still closing up. We are waiting to see when these guys will stop, and they're staying out for the time being. I presume Timo's going to be coming in the next 2 or 3 laps, because surely Casper will trigger the undercut. Otherwise, no. And is Flexi going to come in and prove my point? Yes, he will. Thank you, Flex. At least one of them wants to come in the pits when I said it. I was getting worried then, and surely I'm going to imagine we're going to see Deck also dive in the pits. No, he's on a set of medium tyres, so he's going to stay out for the time being. I know Pete will be in, because he has dived in right now, and that is these only guys on those tyres. Iceman passing Lee, and Lee, I believe, not going to make life difficult for his teammate on those medium tyres. Fastest lap of this race. Blistering pace. He can get really close to Timo here, as long as we do not, and I'm going to repeat the do not, get a safety car, which has been a very common factor in these afternoons. Looks like he might get away with it just about. I don't think anyone's really close enough to anyone to have an issue. Though we have got Yaham and Flexi together, and that is Yaham going to have a look up the inside of Flexi. Both of those drivers, Yaham doing a 2-stop strategy here compared to Flexi on a 1-stop, is what I'm seeing right now. So Yaham wants to get a move on Flexi pretty quickly. If he can do it, won't do it up into this corner, because it is going to be difficult. And the rear end there almost making it a bit more difficult than that, as Timo comes through the last corner, staying out even longer here. And this is really showing and proving he's just going to try and do a 1-stop strategy. Potentially gambling on that safety car if one comes out. He's got a nice delta to everyone else if one does come. Because Iceman, he's closing up on a bunch of back markers. Well, I'm not going to say back markers, but out of position cars currently. He's got to repass all these drivers on mediums alike of Tony, Ryan, Matt, J. Luke and Acorn as well. Iceman, 119.1. Compare that, by the way, to your race leaders. 119.3, 119.1 on a set of soft tyres. That is blistering pace so far as Yaham gets past Flexi. But like I said, that is very good pace, isn't it?
Yep, it is, and it just shows how important being on fresh tyres really is, but it will come back to bite Iceman towards the end of the race if he wants to do a one-stop. So I think if he's brave, he'll do the one-stop. If he's playing it safe, he will do the two-stop. And I know Iceman, he wants to take risks at VSL. I know he's a reserve driver, but you never know when he'll get called up for full-time or when he's free enough to do full-time. And the points just get carried over. So you got to help. And any points a reserve driver gets, it pretty much gets taken away from the full-time drivers, which makes the championship even more interesting. And we like interestingness at the moment. And with Yarham on the soft tyres, the delta is going to be a lot higher. It's going to be around about 5 tenths per second separated between the two tyres. So he's ideally, Yarham wants to gain about 5 tenths a lap. If he does not, then Flexi would probably be quicker than him, so we will keep keeping an eye on that as the race continues. No one on the softs, as we know, in the top 4 has pitted. Meanwhile, Iceman gets past Matt Ryan quite comfortably there. No trouble there. Matt Ryan realised he didn't want to put up a fight there.
Doesn't want to interfere in that battle. Meanwhile, battling here, yellow flags, and that there in the middle of the road, thank you to the ghosting system, is Tony, and he's got to be careful here as 2 cars come up alongside. The ghosting system disappears, and Tony getting on the curb at turn 4, loops it around, and that it will probably be him coming to the pit lane pretty quickly. Meanwhile, as I was saying, that Flexi's got rear ahead of Yarham on those medium tyres, so he's got to move on right now, hitting the curb there. Is Yarham not going to do those tyres? Very good. Rear end also not doing that. And you go that tricky turn, I believe it's turn 10, where they're going through right now. Corner on this circuit, I've never been very good at. In comes Tony, meanwhile, on that set of soft tyres, finally get rid of them. As these guys are staying at lap 13, by the way, on these soft tyres. Now, from my understanding, it's between lap 9 and 12 is really when you're going to be coming in. These guys are stretching it longer and longer and longer. And don't forget, longer they stretch it, more of a risk. But remember as well, Jess, they have a higher chance as well later on in this race of coming back because they're going to have fresher medium tyres. They'll be a lot quicker as well. So it's kind of a risk versus reward right now. And I suppose it is all going to come down to who's doing what, isn't it?
Yeah, that was very close between Tony and Leader as Tony just came out of the pits, but with a fresh rubber. Yarham's had a bit of an off then, and that is not what you want to be doing in turn 2. And I've done that a few times when I was doing practice around this track. Luckily, like you said, the ghosting system is on, so he could just wait for the other cars to go through. And I'm almost certain Hayden is going to pass him sooner rather than later. We are seeing the guys on the fresher rubber trying to get past obviously the ones with the older rubber, as Yarham's gone off again, I believe. Well, it might be his teammate. No, it is Yarham. But we are seeing Flexi, he does not want to be passed as Lee spun. Lee has spun on his own, unfortunately. The pressure just got to him and he's down into 10th position. Slenderman, though, another of our soft runners is into the pit. Your net race leader at the moment is Iceman by quite some distance. Him pitting a few laps early really did help. And the ones who are pitting now, they're going to be in a huge amount of trouble. Dex on hards. I believe he started on mediums, though. Can you double check, Liam?
Okay, as I can get the race directed notes up, and we'll have a look at pit stops. And let's see, we're looking at who are we looking at?
Acom. Did he start on mediums?
Mediums to hards, yes.
All right, so yeah, he couldn't obviously go on mediums because you have to do at least one other different tyre compounders. We're seeing more time penalties galore here, Liam, around this track, and a lot of more people almost losing it at the moment, which just shows that these medium tyres that have been on since the very start, they're starting to struggle a little bit more, losing grip, losing wear as well, but we'll find out very soon. I don't know how Timo and Casper are faring, but as soon as Timo comes in, Casper's like, you know what, I'm coming in too. That's going to be interesting to see the pair of them, but I'm almost certain Iceman's going to get both of them. But he doesn't want to be behind this man, J-Luke, does he?
J-Luke really pretty much just sitting in front of him. It'll be pretty easy pickings, I imagine. Let's see which way is he going to go. Well, he's got to go to the inside anyway, because You can't go around the outside there, and it is passed. Right now, it's going to be a little bit close, actually, on the exit of the pit lane between these guys, and they are just about ahead, but the gap not by much. That's probably going to worry Iceman a little bit. That the gap is only, what, 1.5 seconds, to be fair, is passing Tony on Lee, meanwhile, so those two have switched around. Again, further down the field, looking to see what's going on. It seems like everyone's else has got themselves in a bit of a rhythm right now, though it is the top guys all on the line. That is Iceman, J. Luke, who's out of position, and then Timo, Casper, Tony as well. They really had to do that at the right time because Tony would have kind of got in between these guys soon enough. He wasn't that too far back. Either is Matt Ryan on a set of mediums. He is on 15 lap-old tyres. Then comes Flexi, Slenderman, and Tony not too far back either. So to be fair, everyone is still reasonably bunched up. Yellow flags. That is
Haas.
And he is having all sorts of troubles this afternoon. I presume he might have some floor damage, Jess, as well.
Both Hassan not having a good afternoon, unfortunately, around Portimao. It's become a sudden trek at the moment. It's not like Yarham to be making mistakes. Maybe he just doesn't like this track.
Yeah, it's possible. Meanwhile, here comes Timo and J. Luke. J. Luke then getting overtaken by another car, and as he slowly jogs back, he's kind of got to stay out, though, on those medium tyres and take the pain right now, and then hope the safety car comes out later on, potentially, and that might help his race a little bit if we get one of them. As Flexi passes Matt Ryan into turn one, a little bit wide, though, from Flexi. Matt Ryan might be able to come back later on, is in the pits. Comes Lee on those 16-lap-old medium tyres, as now J. Luke dropped behind Casper as well. That looks like a deceivingly much more easy manoeuvre, though Casper a little bit deep on the brakes, gets it all hooked up. J. Luke a little bit twitchy on the rear end, but keeps it all together as well. Further down the field, by the way, we do have that threesome between Flexi, Ryan, and Slenderman, and those guys all getting a little bit close together.
Yes, they are. I think that could be quite a predicament as well, even though Matt Ryan won't be in this fight very soon because he'll be pitching on to the softs around about lap 24, and, you know, Matt Ryan is still pretty much trying to concede position because you never know, a safety car could come, and Matt Ryan could be in a very good position to it, as I said, that
in the pits.
Johan is retired in the pits, so luckily, hopefully no safety car at the moment, but there will be a yellow flag in that area. So, Slenderman.
Timo. Look at Timo, Jess. He's really closing up on Iceman here. Is he going to have a look at turn number one? No, is the answer there, but he's really closed up all of a sudden. Like I said, those tyres that are a little bit older now, 8-lap-old tyres versus 1-lap-old tyres, this is really coming back to find Iceman right now with the TRS down into turn number 4. This could be Timo's opportunity if he wants it, but let's not do the silly thing and make a little dive right now, because just wait for the DRS down towards turn 1. Stay with him. You know Iceman is on very worn tyres. Let's see if Iceman, though, tries to back him up a little bit into Casper. That could be an interesting strategy.
Yes, I think there's going to be lots of team tactics and lots of tactics in general, I think, in order for people to make sure that they can stay in this lead battle so far. And I think for quite a lot of people, including Matta, it is a damage limitation race, and we're also getting to the point of the season, because we're at the second half of the season, they can't afford bad races. If they have too many bad races, we will start to see people get eliminated from championship contention. Obviously, we've got Timo, who's leading the championship on 98 points. If Timo doesn't even need to be ahead of Iceman in order to lead the championship, he will still extend his lead. But Timo wants a bit of glory. He wants to win on track as well, because we know, well, everyone likes that in racing. Everyone wants to win, even me, even though that's never going to happen. Red mat's off. Red mat is off. Penultimate corner. And he just lost it on traction, unfortunately. And he's weaving in frustration.
Yeah, Tony also has dropped it, Jess, as well. So two cars having trouble as now the Tony brothers together. Well, the Tony comrades, might we say, together. And there's more yellow flags. Red man now, I believe, dropped it into the pit lane entry.
Yes, he
did. And he's in the wall. So, one tires. Oh, this is agony. Oh, God. Come on, car. Get it going. Oh, dear. Come on. There we go. Rear tyres. You're going to grip. Yes, you are. Into the pit lane. Oh. Hello. Come on. There we go. Oh, nearly. There we go, Matt. Now you're in the pits. Finally, you come in Timo, meanwhile, still closing up on Iceman. Top 2 as they are. 3rd position, Casper. J-Luke 4th. Flexi ahead of Slenderman in 5th and 6th. Ahead of them, Matt Ryan, Tony, then Matter. And then comes Nighton, Deck. Ahead of Aiden, Lee, Ryan, Red Matt and Jaws. But this is the battle up front we're looking at right now. 6/10 of a second. Iceman just still holding that gap right now. Just about enough. You can see it closing. But not closing enough as you come down towards turn number 1. Really gets a good launch out that last corner.
Yes, I think we're starting to see more people getting launched of the final corner as they're starting to push. More yellow flags then, so I wonder, because I know George is a lap down, but I don't think anyone else is a lap down, are they? So I think it's just yellow flags for no reason. But Slenderman's getting a brilliant run into Torre Vips. He's late on the brakes as well. That is absolutely fantastic. Slenderman does a see you later type of move, but Flexi is going to launch the counter-attack on him, going into through 6 and then 7, heading towards turn 8. Can he do it? No, not quite. Slenderman, take a bow, I have to say. That was brave, wasn't it, Liam?
A bit of a move. They had to set it up. They had to take the dive, and you had to take the opportunity when it comes. I mean, in these types of races, we get to these latter stages, you kind of have to take those risks. It's, like I said, it's risk versus reward, and you got to weigh up your options. And for the likes of Timo, you got to weigh up these options as well. You want to try and get past Iceman, but you kind of also want to just conserve your tyres as well. That's what Casper probably is doing, just lurking in the background. But like I said, Iceman getting super launches out of the last corner right now. Really holding his station right now as these guys. You could definitely see Timo is saving more and more ERS, so he is waiting, and he will be coming for an attack sooner rather than later. You can just see how corners like this, just look at Iceman, gains a 10th and a bit here and there. 4 tenths now, but it won't be close enough to try and make a lunge. You can see him, like, still saving the ERS, still just waiting. He's Timo, he knows what he's doing. Casper a little bit rear-ending, but keeps it all together. J-Luke Leclerc also having a bit of an issue, and there at the outside line. Slenderman now trying to have a look at that. The outside line won't work there on another car, and he wants to be sitting back and might try and get a move up into turn 8 if he gets a good exit. J-Luke will be coming in the pit, I believe, in the next lap or 2, so doesn't really need to make a move too early because we do believe J-Luke's destined for the pit, so ideally probably down into turn number 1 should be a pretty good move.
Yes, I have to say, Slenderman's pace is looking so good on these mediums, but J-Luke on 20 lap old mediums, that's just no match for him, unfortunately. So I wonder if J-Luke's not going to challenge there. He's defending, but I'm sure there's going to be no answer there as yet. He goes into the pits. That is a few laps earlier, Liam, than I'm expecting, but I think they can still make it, because 14 laps on the sauce we saw earlier from the top 2, so J-Luke can do it.
Yeah, Flexi's got back ahead of Slenderman, though, to those two switching positions again then, whilst they were too busy battling with each other. Slenderman now behind, but he will get the help of DRS. We're going to see a little bit of a same move then. Flexi saving the DRS. Slenderman's going to back out of this one this time, though. Trying around the outside, be brave, but can't quite do it. J-Luke on a set of soft tyres. That will go to the end of this race pretty easily. Like I said, like, pretty decent race so far. Only 3 DNFs, only, no safety cars, to be fair, in this race. 1 virtual safety car, but no full safety cars. So, there is a good one for us. So far, we have got 17 runners still in this race. Slenderman behind Flexi so far. Top 3 days as they are of Iceman, Timo, Casper. I tell you what, Iceman really is doing a very good job keeping these positions, keeping these guys on by on those tyres that are getting on a bit now. They are now, what, 12 lap old, and you can definitely say, though, that Timo and Casper really saving their ERS, now up to over 20%. Iceman down on 13, coming under more and more pressure.
Well, it is going to get to a point where these guys will probably need to pressure people to make a mistake and getting a penalty. So I'm almost certain everybody is on 2 warnings now, but I'll need to double check as Flexi and Slenderman, they're going at it again. This is like round number 3 between these two. It's Ferrari versus Ferrari. Ferrari versus Alfa Romeo. Who's going to come out on top? Is it going to be the Works team or is it going to be the sister team? As the Ferrari goes wide, goes off the track, and it is Slenderman for the taking, but Flexi's looking so good on traction in towards turn 8. Make sure these two do not go into a spin, heading towards up the hill into turn number 9 and then towards turn 10 and 11. Slenderman or Flexi could go wide in order to launch a move up the inside potentially, but no, not quite. I think this is the main battle we've been seeing for the last few laps at the moment. Tony P is also in a nice battle with Matt Ryan. Both of them are also on a set of the soft compounded tyres. I wonder how they're going to climb up the field, but because the delta is only 5/10 of a second, it doesn't make much of a difference. Flexi's in. So is he going for a 2-stop? Well, he thinks he's got nothing to lose, but shame we're not going to see the battle between himself and Slenderman. But is it softs? Yes, it is softs. So he thinks the mediums can't get to the end. So I think that may give Iceman a bit of a worry there. But I know Iceman's done a 1-stop here before, so he won't be too bad about that. Yellow flag, that is a Red Bull. That is Red Matt that's spun again, and he's lost his front wing in turn 4.
He's not having a good afternoon, Jess. He really isn't. He's struggling as J-Luke battling up the inside, and I think he's just got ahead of Akon. Still no safety car though. The amount of debris we've seen this afternoon, I am very surprised. Meanwhile, also Tony passing Matt Ryan up into 12th and 13th position respectively. Both of those guys have just came in recently. Slenderman with a 3-second time penalty, but it is still up front. Tell you what, opening that gap right now is, I believe, someone's just spun it, and that is, I think that might have been Knighton who just dropped it there. I did see someone reset, and I'm not sure if it was Knighton who dropped it.
I don't know. Oh, Casper's getting Timo into turn 1, but Timo covers him off through turn 2. They just make a little bit of contact there at the moment. Casper could try and get the right-hand side line in towards turn 3, but don't forget turn 4 is very, very tricky, but Casper gets it done, and he has the DRS as well, so very good tactic from the Ferrari driver, which allows Timo to unfortunately stay behind. My oh my, that was absolutely insane as they head towards turn 6 now as well. J-Luke sets the fastest lap of anybody so far with a 118.490 as Casper. Oh, that was a save there from him as well. That could have ended in tears, but Casper is on course to be catching up to Iceman, but he's got to overtake him in order to get the win. Can he do it?
Yeah, that was brilliant. A bit of move there from Casper. He was just waiting, and then he just had enough. He just wanted to pounce because Timo's not getting a move on here as quick as he probably wants to. He's just kind of sitting back, and he's maybe he was waiting for going for attack later on, but what it has me now that it's going to be Iceman now with a bit more of a gap. Let's see if these guys now can come out. That Casper has got some pace, but then see Timo with the DRS just sitting behind. Hasn't got close enough to try and make a lunge into turn number 1, but getting closer as well. As now leads 3 closing up. This might be a bit more optimistic now because Casper really closing up back on Iceman now to 0.3 of a second. He is kind of in that bubble where he could get a move on here actually with DRS. Is he close enough? Is he going to think about a lunge then? He's not going to be thinking about a lunge right now, but he's definitely right up behind him. There is George's ghosting AI there up the road as he gets lapped for the first time. I believe it's the second time maybe this afternoon for him. But he is definitely
he's 2 laps down. Red Matt is 1 lap down.
So he's not having a good afternoon, but there you can see, look at Casper now, 26 of 33. He is closing. He is within that DRS bubble. It could be the opportunity he is looking for this afternoon to try and pass his fellow rival. Red Matt a 3-second time penalty. Again, he has got more and more penalties. But here we are. Casper, as well as Timo, they are now right on the back of Iceman. And now, finally, those 16-lap-old medium tyres might be starting to struggle with the DRS is Casper. Close enough. Dead C. Down towards turn 1. Iceman's going to have to cover the inside line. He's going to force him to go the long way round. And let's see, has he got it around the outside? Yes, he has, but with a bit of a fight with the help of DRS. Are we going to see it back? But look there, as Timo comes up the inside, and this is all going to put each other out of position. This is going to help as these two going to rub down the straight. They are almost will to will. Look at this. Fantastic stuff is now the outside line. And Iceman's going to squeeze him all the way off the rope. There's contact as well. And was that overtaking of the circuit? It might have well been. Was he put there? Yes, he was.
Well, we'll have to wait and see then if that will be investigated. Probably not. It was just a little bit off circuit. Most of the wheels were on the circuit, but we will have to wait and see what goes on there. Meanwhile, Knight is having a battle with his teammate. Another yellow flag. That is just, I think, George moving out of the way of the people who are lapping him at the moment. So that's what the yellow flags are for. So fastest lap at the moment, well, belongs to Red Matt. I was about to check the fastest lap, but right there, the fastest lap pops in front of me. So that was good timing. Thank you, Red Matt, for doing so at the moment. But, well, for the millionth time tonight, we've got another battle between the top three. This time, Iceman's on the charge, but I think the decision for him pitting too early has come back to bite him. We've got Red Matt that spun in turn 4 like he did earlier, and he's going to be in danger of being 2 laps down at this rate if he's not careful. He's got a 10-second penalty. Well, I won't be surprised if he goes into the pits and calls it quits after that.
That's very mean game. Naughty. I mean, it was like, that's basically like bullying a defenseless child right there. He had nothing to do. He only just slightly stole some sweeties, and you've gone and locked him up for 10 years. What horrible thing to do, game. Poor old Matt. We'll give him an ice cream later on from that. I tell you what, meanwhile, Timo are now going to try and close back on Casper. And these two have been bubbling, this little rivalry between these two all afternoon. They're getting close. They battle once. Are we now going to see them battle again? But Casper, he's definitely getting back on a chance. Hasn't had in probably his own admission a very good couple of races recently. He had a very good start this season, but it's kind of flattened out a little bit. Red Matt, another penalty for his afternoon. But Timo closing up with the help of DRS, though not close enough into turn number 1 to make a lunge. Red Matt with a 5-second time penalty as well, and I presume a retirement in the pit lane. Unsurprisingly, I won't blame him that. I think Timo, is he close enough to try with the help of DRS into 5? No, he is not. He's going to sit back for the time being. Iceman, though, sitting behind, he could pick up some pieces as well this race, couldn't he?
Yep, he can, even though he's on the much worn tyre. With him being behind now, he's got the chance to save ERS, save a bit of tyre wear, and come back in just a little bit later on as well. And we are starting to see the medium tyres really start to degrade, but the ones on the softs, they're not really taking advantage unless you're Mata. Mata, by the way, after having a bit of issues, is up to 9th place. A good recovery drive from both him and Deck. Same for Pete as well and J-Luke. But, you know, we are starting to see people start to struggle with the tyre degradation at the moment. So let's hope it won't come back to bite him in any way, shape or form. Slenderman's now on his own after, obviously, Flexy's come in. I don't think Flexy's catching up to these guys in the way you would have liked. And let's see if Timo could fight Casper this lap. No, not quite. But he is 3 tenths clear, well, behind Casper now. So he could get it into turn 4 if he gets the DRS. So the detection point is around about now. So he's got to react quickly then. He's got to be within 2 tenths. I don't think he's going to be close enough. No, he's not going to be close enough. So he's going to wait for another opportunity, unfortunately. 4 laps to go of this race. I have to say, much better driving standards this week. Very, very impressed. Even though quite a few drivers are disappointed about the way their race is going. Well, a lot of other people have had better races than last week. So you can't always have races that go your own way. Meanwhile, Hayden goes to the pits. He's going to go for a glory run.
6-lap-old tyres as well, so he's really done that. Meanwhile, I just noticed, by the way, something that I presume you were mentioning, by the way, the 2 McLarens, guess what, they're line is third table as well, the 2 Mercedes line is third, not for long though, I don't think, because here comes the, that's almost the 2 Alpines now, but it's the Alpine and then the Williams.
Tony's running out of fuel.
Yes, Tony is running out of fuel. Now that is a bit of an issue. As you well know, Jess, running out of fuel is not ideal in these Formula 1 cars. That normally means, well, you've run out of fuel. That is a true question. If you do run out of fuel, you are out of fuel. There we are, Evil. Meanwhile, Casper leads this race. 4/10 of a second. Little bit closer this time, though, is Timo with the exit. But again, Casper gets a very good launch out of turn 3. Well, turn 4 into 5. And it's just helping him down here because, I mean, maybe... Oh, but big twitch on the rear, and that's all to help him. But still, just about 2/10 of a second, and Casper closing up. Let's see, is Timo going to have a look? No, he's not going to have a look up the inside here. It's very difficult to corner to do it. I mean, you can see him wiggling the rear end as well. Now the gap back up to 4, 5, 6 temps. Again, he needs to be within 3 temps, really, to try and make a move at any opportunity down towards turn number 1. And you can just see through the middle sector, Casper's got a lot more downforce, but it seems on the straight as well and through some corners. Timo just can close up ever so slightly, but needs to really be within about 4 temps.
Yeah, and with not many laps to go, there's not many opportunities to make the move, so if you want to go for the move... Iceman did it! Iceman's got the traction then! He could get both of them getting into the start-finish straight then. I told you Iceman would potentially save him, but he's not saving his ERS though. If I were him, I would take a back seat out of all of this. So I'm almost certain that these two at the front are going to squabble a little bit. So I think Iceman will just play it safe because he knows that his tyres will just pop any second now. Even though J-Luke got his tyres to 22 laps earlier on as well. So... Iceman knows that he can do it, of course, but his tyres are not very optimum in terms of pace. And just to put it into perspective, according to the game, the mediums only last 17 laps. So the game is telling a little bit of porcupines because, obviously, these guys can make the tyres last a bit longer, but it obviously does depend on your setup as well. As they head towards turn 10 and 11 for the penultimate time, Tony P gets past Deck up into 10th position. Deck's still in the points though, so he's still got an opportunity as well. Matt Ryan in the points too, but penalties can decide things. Well, in-game penalties anyway. Has Liam. We are about to start the final lap of the Portuguese Grand Prix. Who is going to win? Is it going to be Casper, who's leading at the moment, or is it going to be Timo, or is it going to be Iceman?
See Timo with the DRS. Let's see, he's going to be close. Casper's going to have to cover the inside line. This is the opportunity he's looking for. Coming through around the outside, he's been waiting for that, and now on the last lap here in Portugal, Timo takes the opportunity he's looking for, but Casper, let's see if he's got anything. Has he got any pace? The final lap of this race, and all of a sudden it comes down to Liz, who's got what? It is Casper. He's going to have to send it. He's going to have to send it. He's not going to, because he just hasn't got the straight line speed. Timo's waited for so long to get that manoeuvre. He's been teasing and trying now. Used all of his ERS. Casper had nothing. He didn't save enough. But Timo a little bit weary on the rear end. J-Luke with a penalty. They're all picking up penalties so far. But it's going to come down to let's. Is he going to have a look up the inside? No, he's not. He thought about it for a second. He can't do it now. It'll be a little bit too late now. That's kind of blowed his chances of trying to get anything unless he gets a mega run through these last couple of corners. Timo looks like he's taken the bullet and run away with the dog through the last corner. Let's see then. Needs to get it nice. He does do so. Timo come through the last corner. He took the lead on the final lap. He'll stay there on the final lap, and Timo will win here in Portugal from Casper. Iceman in third. Slenderman is going to finish in 4th position, alas with a penalty, so I don't know if he will. It'll be awfully close. I think Tony will finish 4th actually.
Yeah.
Indeed he does.
By 2 temps.
Yeah, 2 tenths of a second, then so it's about 2.8 seconds. Flexy's going to be in probably a little bit of an awkward 6th position right now. He's kind of in no man's land, ahead of J-Luke, then Matter in 7th. What a recovery drive for him after those issues, wasn't it?
Yep, it was, and it's like a Mercedes in real life. You've got to really pick up the points in those bad races, and he has. And by the way, good job to Pete, by the way. He didn't spin once, and he got his first points of the season.
Good result for Pete.
Yeah, so he's got, I don't know how many points you get per night, but point's a point. It only took to round 7 to get points, but, you know, I think he'll be very happy with that he didn't make any major mistakes, so well done to him. Deck comes across the line in 10th, and then it'll be Matt, Ryan and Tony that will get the final point, and fastest lap belongs to Red Matt, and he's binned it, so obviously, so no one will get the fastest lap point because Red Matt DNF'd, and he was in 17th anyway, but we're just waiting for Hayden and Ryan Berry to cross the line, and George has already crossed the line a lap, well, 2 laps down. What a finale there we've had to that race, Liam.
Yeah, it definitely was a great little race. It had been up and down. J-Luke with the driver of the day in game. And I can't argue from where he started out the back. He has done a very good race. But a bit of drama here, a bit of drama there. And it is the Aston Martin on the top step of that podium.
Yes, we'll go through your results in just a second. A Dutchman on the podium then. And Timo is doing absolutely fantastic in terms of race wins at the moment. He was on 98 points going into this, but he's going to be on even more and will be extending his championship lead. He didn't even need to win today, but he did anyway. Timo wins from Casper in 2nd, Iceman in 3rd, Tony in 4th, Slenderman in 5th. Another consistent result for Slenderman, by the way. So that is good to see, but Tony will stay ahead of Slenderman in the standings though by just a small margin. Flexi in 6th, J-Luke from last to 7th, fair play to him, great recovery drive from him. Same for Matta from 18th to 8th. Pete, again, like I said, gets his first point of the season. Deck in 10th, Matt Ryan in 11th, and Tony P will get your final point, with Lee, Ryan Berry, Hayden and George being the finishers. George being the only full-time driver to not get any points this season. Your retirements are Red Matt, Yarham, Newgarden and Kieran.
Well, I can say this has been an absolute kinetic race.
Yes, it has, and you know what, Liam? We still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more rounds to go before, well, yeah, 5 more rounds to go before we find out who will be the VSL Season 8 champion. It literally could go to anyone now. It's so exciting. Now, next week, I'm looking forward to, because we are at another new track on this game, which we raced at last season. We are at Imola. Now, we do remember there was a certain Emilia Romagna Grand Prix a few days ago on Sunday in real life, and unfortunately the Tifosi didn't do too well, but Casper, I think, must be rating his chances for Imola. He's got to deliver, doesn't he, in the Tifosi's home track.
Yeah, he's going to have to do something there. He got so close to winning that race, just couldn't quite do it. One lap and he would have won it, but that is the life of Formula 1. Anything can happen next week as well, but I'll let you round it off.
Yes, thank you to everybody that has been watching the stream. Thank you to the drivers that have raced as usual. Absolutely amazing show you put on us today. Thank you. Also, thank you to my co-commentator, Mr. Liam New. Brilliant job as always. Also, thank you to our sponsor, Rogue Energy. You can use the code VSL F1 League for 10% off if you want to do that. Go on to rogueenergy.com. And it will help us and it will help them as well. Win-win situation. Make sure you follow the league account on Twitter at VSL_F1. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the VSL F1 YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell as well. And also follow us on Twitter. I'm at JessGames95. Liam is Liam New Media. No excuses. Please follow us. That'll be great. But anyway, you don't have to if you don't want to. But anyway, we're about to wrap up the stream. Have a good evening, everybody. We will see you in just under 7 days' time for the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Have a good evening, everybody, and good night.